Monday, November 11, 2013, high urine levels of the toxic heavy metal tungsten have been linked to a doubling of stroke risk, report authors of a paper published today in PLOS One. Tungsten is used in cell phones and other consumer electronics, as well as for industrial processes. Using data from the U.S. National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey (NHANES, UK), researchers found the concentrations of tungsten in samples from 8,614 people in the United States over a 12-year period. The tungsten linked to stroke because the demand for tungsten to build items like cell phones is going up exponentially, stated researcher Drive. Jessica Tyrrell, the first author on the new report, Human Exposure to Tungsten is set to increase. Tyrrell works at the University of Exeter Medical School, in the European Centre for Environment and Human Health, in Cornwall, in the UK, both building and disposing of tungsten-containing items that are indispensable for modern life carries hidden risks. Just last year, the U.S. Geological Survey reports, a California mine produced 9,500 tons of tungsten, compared to only 4,500 tons 10 years ago. Over the 12 years of the NHANES study, levels of tungsten in urine increased. Higher tungsten levels were found in low-income, less educated groups, and tungsten levels were also higher in non-Hispanic blacks and Hispanic Mexicans than in other groups. It's possible that this could result from living in areas closer to industrial sites or incinerators where tungsten contamination is more likely to be found. But Tyrrell noted that we don't yet know why certain people have more tungsten in their bodies. An important step in understanding and preventing the risks it may pose to health will be to get to the bottom of how it's ending up in our bodies, she stated. For the 203 people in the study population who had had a stroke, tungsten concentration in the urine was twice as high as in others, at 0.25 nanograms per milliliter of urine compared with 0.13 nanograms per milliliter. In results that surprised the researchers, the risk of stroke was doubled even for people younger than 50. They did not find any link between urine levels of tungsten and increased risk of other cardiovascular diseases, however. Stroke is a leading cause of death worldwide and the fourth leading cause of death in the United States, responsible for about 130,000 deaths each year, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. Atrial fibrillation, high blood pressure and high cholesterol contribute to stroke risk, and now environmental toxins are implicated as well. In this study, the first large-scale report on public health effects of tungsten. Tungsten in our world. From animal studies, researchers know that tungsten can pass through the placenta from mother to unborn child. Tungsten may affect both children and adults, according to the U.S. Agency for Toxic Substances. Tungsten is found in the natural environment as the compounds wolframite and scheelite, which are mined to purify the metal. Tungsten is an especially strong and flexible metal. With the highest melting point of all metals, it resists corrosion and is very stable. Industrial and home uses of tungsten include parts for inner workings of electronic devices like cell phones and computers, light bulb filaments, X-ray tubes, mechanical drilling parts, and weapons. Tungsten can be ingested in food or water, or via the environment by soil contamination or breathing in the dust. Tungsten from discarded cell phones and other electronics is found in landfills and dumps. Incinerators that burn waste release it into the air, and it may also come from industrial manufacturing sites. Tungsten contaminates firing ranges too. It replaced the lead in bullets because it was previously believed to be a more environmentally friendly and non-toxic metal. But tungsten is no longer considered a green alternative, and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) has classified it as an emerging contaminant of concern. Tungsten stroke cause and effect not yet established. While these findings are provocative, they require confirmation in a prospective study evaluating the effects of tungsten exposure on the risk of cardiovascular disease, particularly on the risk of stroke, said cardiologist William Abraham, MD, the director of the Division of Cardiovascular Medicine at The Ohio State University in Columbus, and an everyday health columnist. The study identifying the link with stroke was retrospective, looking at past data on stroke incidence in metals in laboratory urine samples. As Abraham explained, the investigators tried to control for other factors that could affect their analysis. However, tungsten levels were higher in blacks and in those in lower-income socioeconomic status, groups that traditionally have a higher stroke risk. The relationship we are seeing between tungsten and stroke may be only the tip of the iceberg, said researcher Drive. Nicholas Osborne in a statement. Not only tungsten, but a variety of metal toxins in the environment may cause health problems. This UK research team's extensive data mining of the U.S. NHANES information shines a light on these environmental toxins and health, an emerging area of public health concern. Reducing stroke risk each year, approximately 795,000 people in the United States have a stroke, due to either bleeding in the brain or blockage of blood flow in the brain. Stroke is a leading cause of disability. Understanding the risks for stroke, which typically include atrial fibrillation, high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol, can be helpful in preventing this common and debilitating condition. Now, environmental factors may be scrutinized more closely as well. Air and